Hello everyone, my name is Vera and I am a chemistry teacher at Marathon High School. This is my presentation on multiple intelligence for my Foundations of Education class at Florida Southern College. Today I'm going to talk to you about multiple intelligence and how it is applied in our classrooms. So basically, the first theories of multiple intelligence were developed by Dr. Howard Gardner in Frames of Mind from 1983. And he stated that an intelligence is the ability to solve problems or to create products that are valued within one or more cultural settings. But what does that mean? Does that mean if I don't solve a problem or if I don't create a product, then I'm not smart, that I'm not intelligent? And let's take a look at what he really meant by that. So Dr. Gardner believes that each individual has 9 intelligences, and the first one has to do with verbal and linguistic intelligence. This has to do with well-developed verbal skills and sensitivity to sound, meaning, and rhythms of words. So what do you feel when you hear words? Some people may say that writing is not their strongest subject, and it could be true. It could be because they're not really inclined towards that type of intelligence, rather than they're probably very inclined for another type of intelligence. Let's take a look at the second one. It is mathematical and logical intelligence, and this is the ability to think conceptually and the capacity to discern logical and numerical patterns. So what can you see? Can you learn numbers? Can you learn figures? Is that what you can see? That's why people that are usually people that are good at math, they're also good at sciences like chemistry and physics because they relate to one another. The third type of intelligence is the musical intelligence, and this has to do with the ability to produce and appreciate rhythm, pitch, and timbre. So basically, the ability to create music. Some people are really good at this, and this is one of the intelligence that is the most problematic, so to speak, because some people believe that music is not something that you learn, it's rather something that you're born with. But other people say that music, in fact, can be learned. Somebody can learn how to sing, and this is where the dilemma is. So we shall see. Number 4 is the visual spatial intelligence, and this is the capacity to think in images and to picture yourself where you are with respect to other things. So, for example, when somebody leaves their house and is able to go back to their house without having to use a GPS, then you're proving that you have some kind of a spatial intelligence because you're able to locate yourself and then drive you back to where you were coming from. So I believe everybody has this part, this strong type of intelligence. Number 5 is the kinesthetic intelligence, and this has to do with people that play sports. So people that are very, very sporty may qualify really high at this type of intelligence, and it's normal because it's their ability to move the body, to control one's movements, and some people are just really good at it. Now, number 6 is the interpersonal intelligence, and this is the type of intelligence that has to do with empathy. Okay, this is how you respond to people's reactions, to people's moods, what are your motivations and your desires, and how you implement them. Number 7 would be intrapersonal intelligence, and this has to do with the intelligence within yourself. What do you think? Are you aware of your inner feelings, of your values, of your beliefs? How do you feel about yourself? Number 8 and number 9 were added a little bit after he published his book, so they weren't in the original book, but they were added before the end of the century. Number 8 has to do with the ability to recognize and categorize plants, animals, and other objects in nature. How inclined are you towards the natural world? Do you protect the natural world or do you destroy it? And this is something that people are sometimes are not conscious about, but other people are very conscious about it. Also, number 9 is the existential intelligence, and this is where one comes to think, why are we here? These are the questions of life. Why do we die? Or why are we here? What's the purpose of me being here? So let's take a look how we can implement each of these intelligence into our classroom, and what are some critics that it receives as well. So first, let's see what's the difference between traditional intelligence and multiple intelligence. So traditional intelligence has to do with the uniform cognitive capacity people are born with, and this capacity can be easily measured by short answer tests. So basically, you're this smart, and I'm going to give you a test to try out to test how smart you are according to the answers you give me. That's traditional intelligence. Dr. Gardner's definition of intelligence, multiple intelligence, has to do with the ability to create an effective product or offer a service that is valued in a culture, or it's a set of skills that make it possible for a person to solve problems in life, or the potential for finding and creating solutions for problems, which involves gathering new knowledge. And this is what we're trying to drive our classrooms into, because we understand that not everybody learns the same way and not everybody is interested in the same things. So the next slide has to do with the multiple intelligence theory. And basically, this is derived from psychology, and each person has a unique combination of intelligence. Each person has a different percentage or different things that are likely inclined towards than other people are not. So everybody is unique. Now, this can be improved. So it does not mean that because you were really bad at math when you were taking 6th grade math, you're not going to be able to succeed in college or in high school and then college. That does not mean that. It means that it can be improved, it can be learned, and that's important. And the last one is the ability to recognize that there are many types of intelligence. Just because somebody is not book smart or street smart does not mean that it's not intelligent at all. Everybody is unique, everybody is intelligent in their own ways. So let's take a look what is the multiple intelligence in teaching. So multiple intelligence pedagogy implies that teachers teach and assess differently based on individual intellectual strengths and weaknesses rather than giving everybody the same test. So what traditional intelligence would do is that give everybody the same test. Of course, we would apply some accommodations and modifications accordingly, but it's basically everybody learns the same concepts, everybody gets tested the same way. Multiple intelligence doesn't believe in that. Now, the next one is structured learning activities run a question or issue and connect subjects. Rather than just teaching one subject, teachers that use multiple intelligence in their classrooms are able to connect different subjects. For example, when this was happening in science, this was happening in history, and this is how these two factors affected each other. Very important. The next one was to develop strategies that would allow for students to demonstrate multiple ways of understanding and value their uniqueness. So, for example, not everybody likes to work in groups. Not everybody has that interpersonal intelligence, but some people feel like they like to work in groups more than other people. Other people prefer to work on their own, and that's okay. That's why teachers should give the opportunities to choose what they want, what the students want. Do they want to teach? Do they want to learn by themselves, or do they want to learn in groups? So some critics about the multiple intelligence in education has to do with Some people believe that it's not applicable to all the core knowledge that a student needs, but in fact it can be applied. We can still teach just the core values that we need, the core knowledge, math, sciences, English, and social studies, and it can still be done the way that multiple intelligence describes. All the people say that it's not new. However, it wasn't really put out there before it was published by Dr. Gardner in 1983. And it's not well defined, and it's culture embedded, and it defeats national standards, excuse me, and it also is utopian. It means it's not really possible to do, but we'll see. So the benefits of multiple intelligence in classrooms are many. The first one would be creating a multi-learning setting. So everybody has the opportunity to learn what they like and incline themselves towards that one section or intelligence that they prefer, but without forgetting the rest of them, because they can also be learned and they can be improved. This offers opportunities for authentic learning, parent and community involvement. So when students go home and they say, I've learned this and this and this in my school, parents are more likely to be involved because they want to see their child succeed. So they see that it is something that's actually working for them. The next one would be increase self-esteem. So this helps because the students are able to develop their own strategies, and they're able to come up with their own ways of thinking, so they are more confident about themselves, and that's really important. And also, we're teaching for understanding, just not teaching because we have to teach. We're teaching because these concepts are important, and students will take a role. It has been proven that when students take a role in what they're doing, they actually learn more than if they don't. And this is how higher levels of education apply. For example, medical school, and they apply that concept because they learn it and then they teach it, and that's how you learn it better. So that is really important. Now, how is this beneficial to our classrooms? Students learn to manage their own learning, so they are aware of what they are learning and how they are learning. And that is very important because it's going to stay in their brains longer than if they just learn a concept, memorize some vocabulary words or some dates and times, and they apply it and they score really good in the test, and it's gone within the next few weeks. Versus when they take part of what they're doing, they're able to remember, to create that connection and learn better. This will also value their individual strengths, and they become balanced individuals who can function as a member of their culture, meaning they're not just good at math or good at language. They're able to bring every section of the intelligence into culture, and that is very important because we want individuals that are able to handle positions that required a lot of demand, and this is how it's built. Now, teachers understand how students are intelligent and how intelligent they are. So this is very important because just because, like I have mentioned before, a student does not score good in math does not mean that he's not going to score good in English. So it helps us teachers understand that these students are able to learn. They're just not learning because they're not inclined towards that specific section, but they are able to learn, and they in fact are smart. And also, this is multiple intelligence theory is not intended to label any students, and because somebody is smart at one subject does not mean that he's not going to be smart at the other. Now, how does this look in my chemistry classroom? And let's take a look at Ms. Vera's class. So basically, I applied verbal linguistic by writing conclusions on data found from experiments. So the students applied the mathematical logical intelligence by exercising, doing problem solving, following chemical equations, and collecting data from the lab. And they're able to analyze that data, write a conclusion, write a hypothesis first, and then write a conclusion, prove their hypothesis, or disregard their hypothesis and write a new one. And they're applying both concepts, mathematical and verbal. That is very important. Now, musical, I play music in the background while we're performing any activities in class. And I believe that is very important, and every teacher should do that. Now, the visual spatial, I implement this by creating posters, anchor charts, drawing molecules, balancing chemical equations. The examples are many in my class because it is a class that requires a lot of thinking and a lot of visualization, and that helps the students a lot. Now, the kinesthetic section, it is about exercising, moving around in the lab, moving around where they're working in activities. So my students got a lot of movement when they're in my class. Now, this interpersonal intelligence, they are able to implement that by performing experiments, by working in groups, by choosing the roles in activities. So they're able to communicate with others and create the social aspect of interpersonal intelligence. Now, the intrapersonal intelligence, they are more within themselves, and they do this by probably, I ask them what their goals are after graduation, or what they collected in the data and what it means. So there are many ways to do this as well. Now, the naturalistic intelligence, this is very important in my class because I am a teacher that likes to base everything they learn in real world applications. So this is how they would do it. This is how they would use it in the real world. This is why this product is important in baking, or why this chemical is found in nature this way. And it's very, very important to them and to me that they learn the real world applications. Now, the last one is existential, and this, I am really, really involved in the community. I really like helping others and putting that input. So I always invite my students to do the same because I believe it is very important. Now, this is a link that you could click and find your strengths and see what are your 3 top intelligences. And these are mine. Math and logic, I score the highest. Then, as I mentioned, nature, I love nature. And intrapersonal, so I'm really able to analyze and think about how things relate to myself and how I could make the world better. And those were my top 3. But now the other ones don't. It means that I'm also really good at social, the interpersonal one, and the language. And maybe not so much at the spatial and the body movement and the musical, but that's something that can always be improved. And that's going to be my goal. All right, these are my references, and I thank you very much for watching my video, and I hope you learned something good. Leave your comments below. Thank you. Bye.